We're a couple of months into the new year. Many of you resolved to get your financial affairs in order this year. Now is the time to meet with your financial advisor and reevaluate your retirement plans and prepare for taxes since that deadline's coming too. Let's talk more about it with Bryant. He's the president of D. Bryant Retirement Strategies and host of Retirement Strategies Radio on KFAB in Omaha. You probably listen to him on the weekends. They are here every Thursday. Darryl, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's always our pleasure. I feel like we've learned, this series, we're maybe a month into it now, but we've learned so much from you already.
Well,
and I know this is a very busy time of year for you. Put that into context for us.
Very, very busy. You know what? It's tax time. Naturally, everybody's looking for their 1099s or 5498s, et cetera, some tax forms to take to their CPA. And we have a lot of baby boomers that are moving into retirement. A lot of people are retiring this year, and so we are getting a lot of phone calls about preparation for retirement. What am I going to do about an income plan? Yeah, I have a 401k, IRA, 403b, but it's really coming down to it, and I've been putting this off for a while. So what do you think I ought to do? And so yeah, we're running a pretty darn busy office for that reason.
We're not all savvy investors. In fact, I would guess most people aren't savvy investors. I mean, they want to be, but they don't really know naturally. It's not an intuition thing on how to get there. But most people probably have heard about having a diversified portfolio, that phrase. Why is that important?
Well, that's a great question for this time of year or this season where we're seeing a potential market devaluation, right? We're all afraid that the market is going to devalue or go down here pretty shortly. So especially as you move toward retirement, it's terribly important to have some of your dollars in what we would call safe harbor, so that when we do see that market devaluation, we're not exposed to that at all. So no matter what happens with respect to market conditions, we're not worried about the short term because we've already prepared for that in terms of our allocation in the first place. The problem is that we have so many people coming into the office who, though they've been working with an advisor for many, many years, they look, as we talk about on paper, nothing like they look like as I look across the conference room table. And I've seen so many people go into retirement without that diversified portfolio, fully exposed to decline, not really understanding what they own, and so we just need to evaluate that and say, what is the probability of decline right now in terms of economically speaking, and then how exposed are you to that decline, and is that going to affect your ability to retire or the caliber of your retirement on the short term? The worst thing that can happen right now, we're looking for a devaluation potentially in 2016. For people to ignore that right now, thinking they're going into retirement, and then they say, well, shoot, I heard the market might move south. I ignored it. I didn't do anything about it. I was going to retire this year, honey, but you know what? I can't now because we've devalued as a repeat of 2008. What if that were to happen? And now we have to push our plans back. So diversification is absolutely key.
One of the things that we like about Darryl, you have certification in both mutual funds and annuities.
Sure.
Maybe we'll focus on annuities here.
Okay.
What are we talking about there, and who can benefit most?
Well, let's differentiate between the two camps of mutual funds and annuities, and I am certified on both sides, and so and we handle each in my office. Certainly, I don't have a bias for these vehicles, and in fairness, these two camps really should be complementing one another and not fighting each other. So here's the situation in my industry. You have the annuity camp on one side of the conference table, and you have the mutual fund camp and stocks and bonds on the other side of the conference table. So you have the Prudentials and Mutual of Omahas and MetLifes, et cetera, here with annuities. They're issued by insurance companies. And then the mutual fund guys or the stock bond guys are on this side. Now I'm on both sides of the conference table. I understand it. But the client is left like watching a ping pong match, with this infighting going on. So let's talk about annuities real quickly. All an annuity is, they're always issued by insurance companies, and it's simply an opportunity for our clients to secure a portion of their dollars. We talked about diversification, et cetera, and safe harbor just a moment ago, right? So wouldn't it be prudent to safeguard a portion of those dollars, in other words, transfer the risk of devaluation to an insurance company, in return for some form of guarantees. It could be guaranteed growth, it could be guaranteed income, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, some people would call that pensionizing a portion of your assets. Nothing wrong with that. That's probably not a word, but
no, we understand what you're saying, though. We get it.
We want to pensionize those dollars. The problem that you run into, and there are quite a wide variety of annuities out there, Mary, is we don't want ever to see our clients in a product with an annuity, which would be an old form of the vehicle, where if something were to happen to them once they establish that safe harbor, that an insurance company would ever keep all their money, right? There always needs to be that form of a safeguard or a safety valve that unused values always go to named beneficiary, whether it's full spousal continuation, which is exactly what it sounds like, full spousal continuation, or non-spousal beneficiaries, they have residual value as well. There's nothing wrong with either of these camps. The problem is online or just infighting between folks who really want to sell you one thing or sell you another thing. Honestly, we need to have both moving forward, and that's also according to the Wharton School of Finance, who suggests the same type of an allocation for retirees.
You believe in tools and information knowledge, and you've got something for our viewers today that'll really help them advance their understanding of all of this, really.
I sure do. We have a couple of things. I brought with me just some pieces that I think that I wrote here. 7 answers every investor should know. I think that's probably a good starting point.
Okay.
And then there are also some other articles that I've written for Fortune or Money or Fox, etc. The Death of Buy and Hold, The Tale of Two Retirees, Not Your Father's Economy. These are simply articles that I was asked to write for these entities, and people seem to appreciate them. You know, this is a good starting point for conversation, so we'd be happy to provide these.
One that you mentioned, and we've got it here, 7 answers every investor should know. And this is really, Daryl specializes in helping those who are at or near retirement. So somebody like me, mid-30s, I might not be your best bet, but if I think about my mom and stepdad, my in-laws, that's who you're helping. So if that's where you are in life, please jot down the number. It's 402-932-2141. You'll get a copy of that article and others that Daryl has written. And then online, it's dbryantretirementstrategies.com. But he's here on the Morning Blend every Thursday, and then you can also listen to him in between on Saturday and Sunday mornings on KFAB. He is the authority if you're thinking about retiring. Do it with confidence, and then that way you're guaranteed to be successful when you've got a guy like Daryl in your corner. It's good to see you.
Nice
Thank
to see
you.
you.
We'll
Thank
see you
you,
again
Mary.
next week.
You betcha. Thank you.
And the Morning Blend continues here in less than 3 minutes.